Hello, everybody. I hope y'all had a good Thanksgiving. It is a day of madness. It's Black Friday. I'm a little late because my doorbell just rang. I didn't buy anything, but my new shipment from Zounds that I'm borrowing stuff from came. And if I didn't look at my phone, the FedEx people don't ring the bell. So those guitars just would have been sitting outside. And that wouldn't have been good. Now, would it have? I'll leave it up to your imagination what they are. But three different brands for this one. And this will be the last one of the year. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the year in general. We got a month left. This final push to buy a bunch of stuff. And then I don't know, maybe a few weeks of calm. NAM after that. And then a whole lot of calm is what I'm predicting from February until the summertime. Outside of, maybe pop-up sales from people that really need to make some money, like Fender. And I don't know if Gibson are going to discount direct as well. I don't know why they use reverb. But today I just picked out a few sales in general. We didn't stream yesterday, obviously, because of the holiday. And yeah, we're just going to hang out today instead. So we got Greg in here. How you doing? I pinned a comment. If we look at anything today, you can use those links. It helps me and doesn't cost you anything extra. And it is what it is. I'd like to be able to give my kid more stuff for Christmas. That's what it's all about. So the first thing I wanted to say was something that kind of surprised me with the Fender stuff. I didn't realize they had as little stock as they did of a lot of the stuff they put on sale. Because when I made that video, I thought for sure the only thing that would sell out would be the Mustang, the American-made Mustang that somebody in here bought and then had a problem with. But they didn't buy it from Fender. They bought it from Sweetwater. And to my shock, there's been a lot of guitars that have sold out. So I want to start there and kind of just show you guys like what they still have. The good news is they still have the paranormal offset, which, I definitely, that's the one I like the most out of all of them. So I'm, kind of an offset guy. But it's also a really good price on those. So we'll just kind of run through some of these ones real quick. And I promise we're not just going to stare at browser stuff all day. We can hang out too. But there's some things I feel like are maybe worth skipping too that I want to go over. To begin with, okay, so Fender. When I go to their exclusives, because that's the biggest percentage off is 30%, right? They have that telly left, the Esquire, the Troublemaker, the Offset, a bass guitar, a 12-string, another bass, the Affinities, a few of those. But they've sold out of, really what I wanted to show you was they sold out of the Bigsby Telly. They sold out of all the Player 2s. Now, I thought that they'd have a billion of those, so I'm kind of surprised at that. Same thing with that particular Telecaster and a Charcoal Frost. I thought they'd have a lot of those, or maybe just a lot of them sold. They sold out of all the Fender-branded Players and Player Plus models in general. And the Paranormals, they sold out of two different versions of those. And what I was kind of surprised at was this one in particular sold out, the blue one, because that's the same price as this guitar. And I think that this one is way cooler. So I don't know how many they have left. But out of all those, yeah, I mean, like, I'm not just going to totally rehash here. Obviously, the Mustang's gone, but I do like these two guitars. But I found it kind of crazy because normally, like, they're huge. They produce stuff in such high numbers that I would have assumed they'd have a lot more in stock. But c'est la vie, so to speak, right? So if you guys are buying anything, let me know if you're buying it for yourself or if you're buying stuff for other people today. My kid spent a lot of time with my parents, her grandparents, up in New York recently. And we don't watch TV in this house at all. I don't have cable or anything like that. And the one thing she said when she got back was, I can't believe how the TV's always on, and I can't believe how annoying commercials are. So everything's Black Friday, Black Friday. She is sick of it. And I just found it really funny how somebody who's not exposed to all this stuff realizes it's just, it can be a little bit too much. But with the holidays, I mean, it's tough because you want to get the best possible deal that you can for anything. But at the same time, you don't want to get, stuff you don't necessarily need. And prices are definitely going up in January across the board, not just with guitars, with everything. So be interesting to see how that goes. Hi, Deb. You bought a Squire Mustang bass. They had one of those? Was that part of the sale, or was that just something you wanted? That's pretty cool either way. Hope you like it. And what's up, Miranda? You think something's wrong with you? You have a few carts at places, but I haven't bought anything. I might need to see a doctor. I don't have any carts anywhere. I do have a few things I need to get. They're boring things, though. They're not things that people are happy or excited to click on videos about. I need hardware. That's the main thing I need here. I need hardware. I need sandpaper for fretwork. I'm all out of the specific sandpaper that I use. And then strings. That's pretty much all I need. I'm in pretty good shape right now, fortunately. So we'll have to see how it goes. McLaughlin won't be able to talk. Just wanted to say hello. Well, I appreciate you popping in. And if you're just going to listen along, then listen along. I hope if you're driving that none of you in general turn this on while you're driving and attempt to chat in the chat. Don't do that. That's not recommended. Oh, man. You don't watch TV since about 15 years, only movies. Since I saw an ad, and YouTube Premium helps block that too. YouTube Premium is good. I really liked it when it was a lot more affordable. I feel like it's gotten so expensive, and I'm old enough to remember, and a lot of you guys are too, when streaming first became like a thing, well before all the places had their own subscriptions. We used to have this thing called the Sling Box, and this was in like 2009, 2010, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world because I told you guys several times, like I'm a big Met fan. I used to watch all the games, and when I was in Orlando, I couldn't get all the Met games. So I found this box called a Sling Box. It hooked up to my dad's cable box in New York, and I got to watch SNY. So I got all the Met games, and it was amazing. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. It didn't cost anything a month. All you had to pay for was the equipment, and I said, everyone is screwed. My dad's like, yeah, nobody's going to pay for any of this anymore because, you're going to be able to do stuff like this and share and all this. And here we are, all these years later. If you add up the cost of all your subscriptions, I bet you it's more than what you were originally paying for cable. And you still have to deal with all the freaking ads, unless you want to spend extra on it. So we've come full circle now, haven't we? It's honestly, it's kind of annoying. But I'm happy I don't partake in the cable thing. And I have YouTube Premium. But outside of that, like, I don't have Netflix. I don't have... What are some of the other ones? I had Fubo for football from Spain, Italy, and England, but that's it. I canceled that actually. That's all I have. That's it. The end. So I'm pretty tied away, or not tied up, so to speak, when it comes to the cable stuff. All right, it's all pedals, no guitars. You're doing errands. I got it. You're going to a guitar store and finally trying a Jag to see if you want to buy one. Online. Yeah, good luck. Best way for any guitar is to do this in person. And it's funny, I was just talking to Greg about this about an hour ago. And this will tie me into another brand that it's good that it's on sale, but it's also a little concerning because just like Core PRS, I've never seen this brand go on sale before. I was telling him about the Ernie Ball Music Man American-made guitars. Because some of those ones have necks on them that if you're a Fender player, like an old Fender player, not like a modern Fender player, like if you're used to playing vintage Fender guitars and you just love the shape of them, those are unbelievably good. I mean, they got the modern stainless steel frets on them and the 10-inch radius or whatever. But as far as the actual shape, oh my God, fantastic. And you can't find them in person. He's like, I never seen them in person. And I'm like, yeah, me either. There are some Ernie Ball models I have never seen in any store across several states decades after they've been released. And it sucks because that's part of like the barrier to entry for everybody to become like a fan of a brand. And PRS did a really good job of that, of going from like only available in some spots to basically being just as available as Epiphone, Gibson, and Fender, what have you, right? But with like Ernie Ball, I don't see them nearly as often in person, and for sure it was the same thing for the longest time. But I mentioned them in where are they? So the Ernie Balls. Now I can't say enough good things about these guitars. I really can't. They're all on sale too. So the Cutlass is the one that I really like. Oh man, even the are the Sterlings on sale too? I didn't type in Sterling. But this is the one that I find. Okay, now hear me out here. It's just $2,500. All right. That's for the HSS. They have the single. We can look at those in a second. You know what? Why don't we go to those because there's more colors. Cutlass. There we go. Oh, and these are with the new pickups in them. Okay, so dark rainbow. This is like a crazy purple, actually. Golden delicious, mystique, whatever. Okay, so these look expensive. Now I want you to keep a few things in mind. They don't make nearly as many of these guitars as I alluded to. The fretwork on these is unbelievable. The quality control is unbelievable. They're way better equipped. Hardware, pickup wise, everything is just as good as you're going to get with one of these guitars. The downside is that it's an Ernie Ball and it doesn't say Fender on the headstock. But what I really want to kind of leave you with, a lot of people look for non-Fender guitars to be a little bit more aggressive. And like myself in the past, that always brings me to Paul Reed Smith. I think that this is like a 2 to 3 times better value than Paul Reed Smith because there's no compromise on these guitars. There's just none. There's none. Whereas, like, if you compare this, what's a good equivalent? Like either the Silver Sky, the Fiore, or the Custom 22, and you're like, what are you talking about? Because that one had single coils. Yeah, the Stingray's got 2 humbuckers in it. And yeah, $2,500. Those normally $28. Ooh, that one's on sale for $23,700. But yeah, like I just find these to be much better instruments than PRS. Much better instruments than PRS. I know a lot of people love PRS and what have you, but if you're a Fender player especially, switching to an Ernie Ball, it feels way more natural on top of that as well. So when I saw those on sale, I wanted to mention that. And then before I click out, another brand that I never see on sale that I just had to see because I was really interested in this amp. I almost got one of these amps. Soldano. So this amp is $1,700, all made in America. It's got 4 channels on it. It comes with the actual foot switch you need. And you can IR right out from it if you wanted to either front of house or to your DAW and record that way. And I think that this is freaking awesome. And Soldano will give you like a 3-year warranty on it. Fantastic. The thing is a jack of all trades. It's got 6v6s, so the clean tone doesn't suck. That's one of the things that, higher gain amplifiers, the clean tones, you could take or leave them. But with Soldano's clean tones, I've always felt this way about the original slows, the 100s. And even the same case with the slow 30s. I like those a lot because the cleans are good. And the only other amp I could think of where the cleans are really good, that does like the gain, like the real gain, not like the vintage gain, but like the over the top, like crazy gain, is the Rock Reverb. Now the Rock Reverb doesn't come with 6v6s. And those things are not built as well as the Soldanos are. I'm saying that generously. It's one of the reasons I don't have a Rock Reverb. They're expensive for what they are in my book. But as far as clean tones and like an amp that literally can do like everything, I think those are 2 of the best like circuits that you can get. So I saw the Soldanos for $16.99. What does a Princeton cost you? Almost the same price as that? Kind of wild. Different flavors. Just something I thought was very interesting because that's not a brand I see on sale. That's not a brand I see on sale. Soldano. Same thing with Ernie Ball. All right, let me see. Great for the kids? Oh, yeah, it's great for the little one to not have TV. Now, my dad just popped in. He's going to get pissed. Yeah, she came home. All he does is watch TV. He just sits on his chair and he just watches TV. He just loves his TV. He loves TV. And they got her addicted to this show, the new version of Press Your Luck. So she just says whammy, 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 whammy. And it was cute for the first like 5 times. Now it's not so cute anymore. It's kind of annoying. So thanks for that, Dad. All right. YouTube Prem, Netflix. Hardly watch anything outside of that. Who do you support in the Prem? I don't think you've ever told me that. You love the Soldano Astro Tony. It sounds amazing. And yeah, the cleans are fantastic. You bought mine when they first came out. Dude, that is an amp that I think it was like 2 weeks ago. If you guys look, you can look on my channel, right? Let me see when I made this. In the community section, the reason I made this post, okay? Oh no, I have to actually go to my channel. I asked you guys if you would rather have the Helix Stadium or one amplifier, or like one like really good amplifier, okay? Now, it's funny to me because what brands did I list off here? Friedman, Tone King, Dr. Z, etc. I was asking because in my head, I didn't want to write Soldano, but I was looking at the Astro. That's a tough call. But the Astro is the one that I had in my head. And I have been mentioning it to Aaron Short. He bought one of those Synergy ones. And I'm just going to level with you guys. I'm not the biggest fan of that. If I wanted to play video games and have a Nintendo with cartridges, I would use my old Nintendo that requires cartridges. I like having everything just as it is. It's just more crap to break. Not a fan. But I've told him that Astro is like the perfect all-in-one solution amp for like so many situations. And what I like about amps more than like the digital stuff, because the digital stuff, it's such a slippery, it's not a slippery slope, but it can get dicey because you can hit option paralysis really quick with the digital stuff. And I know that the Stadium right now is like the new thing. And then there was a new Fractal, and then the Quad Cortex got an update and all this stuff. And we have to compare each capture and then the original capture versus the new capture process and the neural capture. And it's a lot. And it's really convenient to have it. Out of all of them, the one I like the most is actually the Tonex. And it's going to fall in the line with what I'm saying right here. With the option paralysis that happens, because you could get so many great sounds, you could get lost though. And instead of spending that time sitting and playing your guitar, you might be tweaking patches and you might just be wanting to screw with something, or you might be scrolling through presets and be like, oh, that's a really cool thing. And then breaking it down and figure out what effect or what amp you liked, and then just trying to build your own. Before you know it, you've spent 2 hours, you haven't practiced at all, or you haven't written anything at all, or just done anything productive. You just played with, a screen. Whereas the reason I like the Tonex the most out of those three, the effects are not good on it. I love that. That might sound like a negative thing, but I love that because that what allows me to do is I have my pedals that I love my pedals. I go right into the Volante. That's like my favorite pedal of all time. That gives me a looper, that gives me delay, and that gives me a spring reverb. That's absolutely passable. We used that for how many years before the Princeton came in here as my way of getting spring reverb on the amps? I love that. So being able to bypass all that extra stuff because the options aren't so great on it, I think it's a big plus for it because that option paralysis goes away. You capture the amps that you like me. I have captures of the Princeton. I got captures of the Marshall, of the Z. And if I need to do something like that, and I can just reamp, I got this guy, not one of the sexy things that people buy, but it's the reamp box. So if you're not happy with something and how it recorded, and this is especially important if you do kind of old sounds. This might sound crazy, but if you do like surfy music or you do like soul or anything like 50s or 60s sounding that requires you reverb, or on the other token, you're doing something more modern, or you're really going for a really perfect, clean, dialed in delay, if your original tracking is a little bit off and you don't have the ability to reamp it, you're hard committed to that. And what I love about the reamp box is if I'm like, oh, it's a little bit too wet with the reverb, it's not sitting in the mix, you literally just go through. It's the same exact signal. You don't have to worry about botching the performance, and you're just gold. It's amazing. And even if you wanted to do that, the other option you have is you run it through Tonex or whatever you wanted to, the dry signal, and then you could use a different amp. And that's all after you've already played and done the important stuff. I think that like for me, that's an ideal workflow. Tangent, I know, but that's just my own personal opinion on it. You know what I mean? Like, I think that the less things that you can get in your way when you're trying to practice or you're trying to work on something or you're trying to be creative, the better. Because it is cool to use an effect to get an inspiration, but it's not overall, in my opinion, the best approach. And it's not always going to work. Whereas if you just cut out all the variables, cut out all the noise, and you just sit with the guitar, you're going to have your best results the majority of the time that way. And for a digital rig, that's why I think the Tonex is the best. Well, it's my favorite at least. You would get an Ernie Ball Music Man before you would get a PRS. You remember when they came out during the late 70s? They had a shop out in Nolensville Road in Nashville. I go with my dad sometimes. Yeah, and they've been around for a while. And the Music Man thing makes me laugh. Because where did I start with all this nonsense in the 90s? I started with a Japanese Fender that wasn't cool. Now they're really cool. And the Music Man amp. So it's kind of funny that, I'm going to make a video about this, and I'm just going to repeat myself because, not everybody watches the videos. For years, I tried to get PRS to do the thing for me that I had always hoped because it just made sense. 2 humbuckers, mahogany bodies on them, but some of them, like the CEs, they give you more of a Fender feel on paper. At least that's what you always heard. And they never felt bad, but they never, ever, ever felt right. And this whole time, the answer was right behind me. It's always been with me. This is an amplifier that's gone across this country, man. It's gone all over the country, this amp. It's a freaking tank. It survived hurricane. It literally survived hurricane damage. It's still kicking. In this brand, I didn't have on my radar. And I think part of that comes down to what I was saying before about, like, you just don't see them in stores as much. And then the other thing about Music Man is, like, you don't see them online as much either. You notice that? When a new PRS model comes out, everybody's going to have one of those. You're going to have a whole parade of people telling you how it's the best thing ever. With Music Man, you don't have that. So I think that plays a factor as well. So it was a mistake I made. But I can tell you with experience now, a bit under my belt with Music Man. Oh yeah. That was the answer all along on multiple levels. But the rest is a story for another day. Greetings. You popped in phone to say hello while watching Mr. Robson's Friday show on the big screen. Hope you have a holiday season. Catch the replay. No worries. I didn't realize that was happening. Sorry about that. Aaron. I hope you just had a hearty laugh in real life right now because I'm trying hard not to myself. Stop talking about you. You have an Ernie Ball on the way. I know you do. You're borrowing it. I hope you love it. The Music Bands always get great reviews. Never played one. Maybe the design is not appealing to many. I don't know, man. People are pretty accepting. And honestly, I don't think the design has anything to do with it. Man, there is no way for me to say this without just bashing on PRS. I'm not trying to, but I'm trying to get the marketing thing. Like, if enough people, or like the right people to you that you really respected, came out and did the Music Man promotion the way that some of these people do the PRS promotion, I guarantee perception would change. Do you know how many years before like the internet was a thing that people knew that PRS guitars were really good? And they were at the time too. Like late 90s, early 2000s, like that was like their peak for me. You couldn't get some people to even consider them because of the looks. That headstock, no chance. And that's the other thing that always makes me laugh. Because there's some guitars, like I demoed the Reverend, and I thought it was fantastic. Both the Jetstream 290 and the Vito. I can't get past the headstock. And to me, I'm just like, yeah, I remember in the 90s and the 2000s, people said the same thing about PRS. And all it took was the right people promoting them and saying how great it was, and then Paul being very smart and snatching up Mr. Mayer from Fender. And all of a sudden, nobody cared about the headstock because somebody cool was playing it. It has so much to do with it. All of like marketing, it's so much more than just the product itself. It's the emotional thing. It's this person plays it. I really like that person. Or this person says it's great. I really trust this person. Some brands are just far better marketing than others. Because if you look at some of those PRS designs, some of them are pretty damn homely. Those Swamp Ash Studios, oh man, they are fugly guitars. They are fugly instruments. So that doesn't stop some people though. Doesn't stop some people. I think the more we get used to it, the more our opinions will change. But I do understand though about some body styles just not working for you. Gibson can make the best SG in the whole world. I still hate it. I like Gibson too. I hate the SG. You're going digital just to decide which one you're going to use. Kemper and Evers sounded great last night. You were surprised after playing an amp all week. That's cool. You were telling me about that Kemper. I remember when Kemper first came out. They were not picked up as fast here. They're picked up pretty quick in Japan, which makes a lot of sense because everything needs to be really portable in Japan because it's, the way public transit works there. Not everybody has a car. But the Kempers they picked up pretty quick there. And then they were like the standard for a little bit. Licenses and patents and stuff start to expire and other companies figure it out. Very soon, every brand that makes a digital product will have capture built into it. I have no doubt of that. Music Man basses were the it in Nashville, live and in studio. I love the Stingrays, man. I love the Stingrays. My wife has a Sterling by Music Man. She loves that. She's very open-minded though with body styles. She's also like, I don't know. She just likes things that look like they're either Jetsons designed. Like I think that's why she loved the Jazzmasters so much. Because like when she first saw that guitar, it didn't look like a normal guitar that she had ever seen some people play. And she just fell in love with it and the sounds and how quirky it was. And I remember when I bought her that bass, the Music Man, we were at Guitar Center and I bought her in. I bought her in because I knew that the Squier, what was it, 40th anniversaries were on sale, and she loves like the greens, and it was a seafoam green, and I thought she'd really like that, and I was just like, oh, I'll get it for her. And as soon as we walked in, she felt it, and she was like, this is fine, but then like her eyes like lit up. She's like, can I try that one? And it was the Music Man, the Sterling by Music Man. And as soon as she sat with it, she never played a roasted maple neck. She's like, this is amazing. She's like, I love it. And I was like, well, my day just cost 2.5 times as much as I thought it was going to. But we still have it, and she loves it, and that's all that matters. You're one of those people, you don't like the way PRSs look. They look like the 2000s to me. Creed era music. Fender is timeless. Decades use. Across genres, probably your bias. The Creed reference, man. Like Creed and Alter Bridge. You guys tell me if I'm the only one that thinks this, right? Like, when I think of Mark Tremonti, it just, all I can think of is like the WWF. Didn't they play one of the intro songs for one of the guys? Wasn't The Rock? Who was Edge? Yeah, Edge. Like that's what I think of. I think of like WWF music. Like we're gonna have a bar fight in the South. Like that music doesn't do anything for me, man. It doesn't do anything for me. There was a pool hall I used to go to in the middle of nowhere, in New York, and they played all that style of rock, and it was a mix between like that. Every once in a while, someone would put on Alice in Chains, which I don't love Alice in Chains. I'm just gonna say that, but I thought it was better at least. But that whole style of rock just never caught on with me. And you're right. I kind of still associate that with PRS, despite the fact that, you got some players like Mark Lettieri. That guy's a god. He's amazing. Great guitarist. And then, obviously you got your Mayers. And then Konami. Not all of you know her. Japanese guitarist for Bandmate. She's fantastic. But I still think of that that Creed, I see clearly. It's just like, I don't know. It's funny music. I'm sorry if you like it and I'm offending you. Oh, man, that's true about the headstock perception. Yeah. No, people hated PRS because of that. They're like, I can't do it. I don't care if it plays better than my Fender. Looks like crap. Now I'm doing a Southern accent. I apologize. You're late to the party, David Dillinger. Dillinger, I hope your escape plan is going well. It's good to see you. And Lee. Hi, Lee. You're looking for a Jaguar, huh? You didn't write that in there, but I read your comment. I've been a little busy. I haven't responded to everything, but I did see that. And I figured you'd be in here so I could talk to you about it if you wanted to talk about it. Sorry, there's like some lint. I don't know how the hell that happened. But anyway, so wrapping things up here. We'll get these last ones out of the way, and then we'll get back to just doing what we do. It's kind of shooting the breeze. So I went over the Soldano. Check. I went over the Ernie Ball. Check. The Fender sale and everything selling out of that. That's insane to me. That's insane to me. But I mean, like, for $330, that Squier Paranormal, like, that's something that's so uniquely different. It's cool looking. It's comfortable. It's light. Like, that's a great price. I don't know. And Court are the ones who are making those. Court make the PRSs that cost 3 times as much as that. I don't think they're 3 times as good at all. Personal opinion. What else did I want to check out? There were a few other things. Ooh. I had I'm gonna get one of you. Now, one of these things isn't going to be an affiliate link at all. So this is literally just me saying, okay, check this out. You ready for this? Fender Custom Shop, $1,757. Now, this is when the custom shop are making like actual custom shops. Yeah, you got a little chipping near the, but that's normal because you got to adjust the action or the truss rod. Oh, is the truss rod on top? I don't know why they're taking the neck off then. Yeah, truss rod's on top. It's modern. But this guitar is, it's got a modern neck on it. 7 pounds. It's under 8 pounds. $1,757, and then the other one, Fender Custom Shop Custom Deluxe Telecaster. I mean, this guy put on quite the control plate. He's definitely listening to Tremonti. That's for sure. I see clearly. That's more of a neck profile I like. 0.84, 0.93. Nut with 1 5/8, so 41 mil. That's vintage style, baby. The guitar was rewired with Fender Custom Shop pickups to date 2018. There you go. $1,575 for a Fender Custom Shop. You tell me, guys. You tell me if everything's going great. Okay, last few things I want to show you at Sweetwater. You guys, I know I'm a big fan of these guitars, the Excels. The full-sized one. This is the Korean one that has the Seymour Duncan 59s and the good hardware on it. These are $1,000 off. All right. I implore you, please, consider one of these. This is much better than any Epiphone I've ever played. It ain't close. It ain't close. Come with nice hard shell cases, quality. Look at how stylish that guy is. Don't you want to be like that guy? I need a set of glasses like that. I don't think my wife would let me wear that shirt. But those glasses, yeah. I want those glasses. See, it didn't work so well. I'm shopping for the wrong thing. But yeah, well, who's that? That's not my sales rep. You're not my sales rep. I don't know you. Maybe I got fired. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, I looked at everything else at Sweetwater. There was nothing that jumped out at me. I'm just gonna level with you. That was the only thing that did. $1,000 off the Jangelico. And the last thing, this is the guitar that I demoed, the exact one. 1614 for the Pacifica, the Japanese one. That sounds. It's just been sitting. I set this up myself. It's got a brand new set of D'Addario XS strings on it. I polished the frets. I think it's gold. And nobody wants to buy it. And that's it. And that's it. That's all. The end. Ha. Okay, we're done with that. Jim, Florida man creeping in. I lived in Florida for a long time, man. Well, I lived in Florida from not a long time. I lived in Florida from 2008. Yeah, right when the world went to total dog. The last time the world went to total dog. I lived in Florida from then. I was in Orlando until around. I was only there for years, actually. 2011, something like that. And I lived in Orlando in some sketchy parts, and then I lived in Winter Park, which was very nice. Winter Park was very, very, very nice. Okay. You want an American Pro Classic, but it's not on sale. Martian, you want 10% off? Click my thing. You get 10% off if you use my link. It's all it's going to do if you do that. It'll ask you for your email. Just type in your email, and you'll get 10% off one of those. It's better than nothing. But I know that works. Here in Europe, only guitars are on sale or nobody wants. Let's read the brands that nobody wants in Europe. Chapman Jet Vintage Sire. That's why I ordered another PRS for the full price. Ooh, brutal. I thought the Jet guitars were popular. My buddy Steve Cassidy, he's always making Jet guitar videos. He loves those Chinese brands. He's doing well for himself. He's found his little niche. It's not an expensive niche either, so that's good. Yeah, I thought those guitars were popular. You're telling me they're not? You're telling me the internet's lying to me? All right. You just ran in to check from outside. You must have been referring to you. Oh, Florida man? Yeah, probably. Oh, you were in Oviedo? That's cool, man. Oviedo's not so bad. That whole area, like Orange County's, kind of cool place. It's a lot different from real Florida, though. That's what I learned from being all over this state. Like, Tampa itself, Orlando itself, and Miami, they're not indicative of Florida at all. In many ways, it's like when people think of New York that have never lived in New York, they think it's New York City everywhere. New York City is tiny. Is nothing like the rest of the state. Nothing like it. There's cool spots everywhere, though. All right, noise. You have that D'Angelico and iced tea? Yeah, that is that. I'm telling you, that D'Angelico is fantastic. That's not one of the the cheap models. That's the full-on Seymour Duncan model, man. That's the full-on Seymour Duncan model. That's a great deal. I love that guitar, the mini version of it. I love it. I would still have it if I didn't. I think you went to first grade around Winter Park area. Not sure. Oh, I read that as Saliba, a French defender for Arsenal Football Club, but I'm not familiar with that lake. There's too many lakes in Florida. I can't keep up with them. Maybe not. PRS on sale right now in the USA. Yep. Yeah, and that one McCarty, that core McCarty, is $3,400 at Zounds. I think that was so good. I left it in the description. I think I did. No, I didn't. Well, darn it. All right, I got 26 people in here and only 6 likes. You guys are failing me. You do that for me? It doesn't cost you anything. All right. Let me see here. they still have that guitar. Yeah, but you know things aren't necessarily going fantastic when PRS core guitars are on sale for a month. I don't know when that ends actually. Let me see if I can find the one. The exact one. Because there's no way I'm going to attempt to spell Aurora Borealis. You guys give me way too much credit if you think I'm doing that. Are you serious? Because they name everything McCarty in the colors, they're really making it difficult for me to find what I'm looking for. And I can't find it. Oh, I found it. Okay. Yeah. All right. Just real quick. I still think that they haven't caught that this is a misprint of the price for this specific one, because the black gold one is $4,000, and that's not a 10 top. Neither of these are 10 tops. 3427, man. Like, what? Why is that an extra $600 off? Seriously, why is that an extra $600 off? That's the newer color with the new pickups and everything. I don't know. I think that's a great deal, and if you could lock in at that price, if you like PRS, that's great. That's one of my preferred PRS models. I just don't think I'm personally going to end up going down that road for the foreseeable future. But anyway, that's enough of that. See how the chat's done. Winter Park was nice while you lived there. Winter Park is ritzy. Let's call a spade a spade. It's one of the ritzier places, especially from like Orlando standards, because Orlando can get pretty dicey. Like around Paramore, not the band, but there are some areas that are not so great, not so great in Orlando. But then you go to Winter Park, it's relatively close, and it's like a different planet. It's like a different planet entirely. What's the cheapest PRS? Any deals on the standard 24 SE? I think so. The cheapest one is the C. I know that. Standard 24 PRS. Let me see. The ones without the vibrato are $500. But that's not how I would go about doing it. Let me see if they have any, because sometimes at Zounds they have open box ones that are even cheaper than that. Okay, yeah. All right, this is pretty good. Okay, so the sale price of these is $679, right? But for this guitar, Blue Mateo, that's $569. That's really good. And Tiger Smoker Burster, Tiger Smoke Burst. I'm really good at words, if you haven't noticed. I think that's as good as you're gonna get though, something like that. Because if we just do PRS SE CE24, we'll see what pops up. You got the sandblasted ones are $6, and you're either gonna love that or you're gonna hate it. Let's just, yeah. Are they sold out of those other ones? No way, right? I think they might have sold out. Oh my God, they did. The only other ones they have left are these. $560. I think that's good in the charcoal. But that's about it. But I know that you're talking about the one that's even cheaper. I think that one was actually like discontinued entirely. I think they did away with it. I think the new, the ones that came in that like dark blue. And yeah, I think they did away with those models. I think they start now at the satin CE24s and they go up from there. The standard ones, that's basically going to be the standard. Because those are really good value for a while. You can get those used for like $300 at Dave's Guitar Shop. And now they're around the prices that we were just looking at. Unless you're lucky and you find one locally. $400. You might get lucky. But out of a store, it's a tough sale. The SC Standard 2408 is a great guitar for the price, but the SEC 24s are not great for you. Weird feel and sound, personal opinion. Yeah. The Silver Sky and NF are on sale. How is Downs to buy from? I prefer them, even just as a buyer. It ships faster. It's just easier to deal with them. They don't call me afterwards. They don't call me like randomly. They're just good people. Like, I know some of the people that work there, and I mean, it's going to sound biased, but at the same thing, you got to remember, like, I work with a few people. I've worked with a few stores in my day too. And, you know, as a buyer, I've been doing this longer than I've been doing YouTube. And I like places where you can get to somebody who's not giving you corporate talk if you have a problem. Like, you get on the phone with them and it's just like, it's a dude. And she's like, all right, cool. We'll figure it out and we're going to make it right. And it's just like, awesome. I had one issue once. And this was 2020 or 2000. Actually, no, it had to have been 2021 because I was in Florida. But it was with a PRS and S2. And they sorted me out really, really quick. And that was it. So I liked them. I liked them a lot. The other thing I like is, like, the Sweetwater card is such a trap. I hate it. Because they don't tell you it's 2% until you read the fine print. So you think you're getting this financing deal. I don't like deceptive practice. Like, I'm not going to sit here and bash Sweetwater either. Like, I think that there's a lot of pros to all these places. You know what I mean? But the card thing isn't even their fault. It's Synchrony's fault. Because the same thing happened to Guitar Center. They changed it in June of last year so that there's no such thing as truly 0% financing. And with Zounds, if you want to do a year, you could do a year with Zounds with no credit check, no credit card, nothing to worry about, and you don't get destroyed by late fees because it's not like that, and no interest. So I don't know. I just really like Zounds. I think it's endearing that the same person that started the company is still the one that owns the company too. That's not for nothing for me, you know, all these years later, because they started the beginning of the internet almost. I think it was late 90s. So Silver Sky and NF on sale. Yeah, those are super popular guitars. The Silver Skies I think are $679, and the NFs are $100 more than that, give or take, I believe. So I know a lot of people like those. That's why I demoed those. The only one I never demoed on this channel was the Silver Sky. I never demoed the Silver Sky SE or the regular one. Do you want to know why? Remember what we were talking about Music Man? How not as many people jump onto that brand? It doesn't look right. I can't play a Strat that has the PRS headstock. I can't do it. I would never spend my money on it. Call me shallow, call me whatever. And the other thing about the PRS Silver Sky, like, I think the neck on the core one is really nice. It's pretty nice. The pickups don't sound, it doesn't sound like a vintage Strat. And that's cool if you don't want that. But it doesn't sound like a Strat. Not the way I think. When I think of how a Strat sounds, that's not it. That's not it at all. It's a totally different vibe. And some people might prefer that. But I love the low output Strats. I love those. They're fantastic. So much more clarity, so much more just warmth to them. It's not as refined. It's not so, like, super perfectly done. Not a fan. Quality guitars though. And if you like that sort of style, hard to beat. $400 for a standard satin and smoking deal for PRS since they got the same 85S pickups. Yeah, it's not bad. Pro Audio Star has a 2000 Excels from 759, 779. That's your deal for the day. Yeah, have fun if you need a return from them though. I was just saying all that other stuff about Zounds, right? Some of these companies, they'll give you better prices on stuff. Have fun if you have a problem. Have fun. Because I'm going to give you a hint, you're not going to have any fun. It sucks. It sucks. And part of the reason that you're not paying as much and from places like that is because included in that cost is the fact that you're getting just trash customer service if something goes wrong. Oh, man. Yeah, have fun with that. I did not have a great experience with that with a few times that I've dealt with Pro Store. One of them I didn't have any issues with the equipment, and then a few other times I did. And then I said, I'm never ever ever giving you $1 again unless it's for something like really cheap, like a pedal that is very hard for them to break or mess up. Certainly never for a guitar. I would never trust them with a guitar again. Personal opinion. You guys may have had different experiences, but me, I would never buy a guitar sight unseen from Pro Audio Star. PRS SE is legit the best guitars under $600. Well, I'm not going to fight you, but I think you're wrong. I don't like any PRS guitars, really. I think they're fine, but they're not for me. Everyone's different. I'd rather have a used Mexican Tele for $600. I'd rather have a used Mexican Strat for $600. A few years ago, you could use Japanese-made Tele or Strat for under $600. But I don't know, man. Like they don't feel right to me. They just don't feel right to me. Especially the SEs. Some of the core ones and the US ones, I like a bit more. But out of all the SEs, the only ones that I was like, okay, this is fairly close to the American model in some ways, was the McCarty 594. Because it's got a good neck curve on it. And didn't have that real. I think the thing is, it's the satin on the SEs. The satin makes that feel like one of those $100 Chinese guitars on the SE models. You guys can crucify me in the comments. I don't really care. There's just something about the neck feel on those that's not right. I like if it's not gloss on the SE, like I know I'm not going to be a fan of it. Only I played so many of them. But that's just my own take on it. And then some people will be like, well, no, you're both wrong. Because I get the Epiphone Les Paul standard. I don't need the Inspired by Gibson one, and that's better. And other people are going to say, all three of you are idiots. I get this $100 Temu guitar, and then I put in my own stuff, and I spent less than all you guys, and that's the best one. That's the thing that gets lost here on YouTube. And on forums. Oh, my God. And you PRS people, you're the worst with this. You're the worst with it. Everyone's allowed to have your opinion, but if somebody doesn't agree with you don't need to, call them idiots or say they can't play or just be jerks about it. It's like, I get it. You spent $7,000 on 10 SE guitars. You want to justify your purchase, but it's okay. It's okay. Other people can like other instruments. Me, personally, I'd rather have a Music Man. A Sterling by Music Man. The McCarty S pickups. Oh, you just mentioned the one that I like. Oh yeah. I would take a Revstar too, but I don't think the Revstars are the same price for $600. Not for the Revstars that I like. Yeah, they're like $1,000 now, man. This whole Indonesian guitar is being $1,000. Batty to me. It's batty to me. Batty. Can't do it. And that's one of the reasons why I think the Fender necks or the Fender sale is so good, because they're priced appropriate for what they are. Like, you don't get good hardware on the PRS guitars. You don't get outstanding electronics, and there's, some of them are like $1,000. And with the Squire, at least, it's under $400. What are we talking about here? Yeah, you're still not getting top tier hardware. You're not getting top-tier electronics, but it's the same boat and the same, for all intents and purposes, it's the same people making them because it's owned by the same parent company. It's Cort. They call it PT Cort. And PRS specifically have them build their guitars at that one facility, but at the end of the day, they're run by the same pretty much standards. Cort are building all these guitars. So I just don't see the value, personally. And like with the SE, like the NF 53s or whatever, or the NF3s, but whatever they're called, right? A classic vibe telly's half the price of that when it's not on sale. What are we doing? What are we doing here, guys? If you just look at things objectively, I don't even think it's something that should come up for debate. Neither one are going to feel as high quality as a Japanese guitar or an American guitar. They're just not. And if you played enough of these, you would know. You don't believe me? Drive to a store. Drive to a store that has a lot of stock. Play as many guitars as you can. And you honestly tell me you can't feel a difference. If you can't, then you're very lucky. You can save a lot of money. If you can, you start to see where I'm coming from. If you, what did you just say? Let me take a drink real quick. Okay. If you gave me a PRS, this is Greg speaking, this is not me. Don't clip me out of context. I would sell it for something else. Not even going to say your second half, just because it's funnier if I leave it there. Some people are like that. I feel this way about the brand I'm about to mention here. Epiphone is so overpriced. Look at Sire for value. Sire J5 is my most played guitar last couple of months. Yeah. And as harsh as I just was on the PRS SE pricing, you know, the Cort pricing, because they're they're really expensive, man. The Gibson China pricing is like, oh man, yeah, we're serious here. Exactly, the satin necks on the SEs are awful. I think awful's the wrong word for it. They just don't feel great to me. They might feel great to other people. Obviously, they do feel great to other people because guess what? They sell. People buy them. You have a Mascus Jazzmaster. That was your most played before the Sire. Those are very, very popular guitars. Very, very popular guitars. Another one you'll never see me play, but I get why people like them. You're a huge PRS fan? PRS fan? Gibson? ESP? Ooh. But you respect everyone's opinion. Flame wars are for losers. I think it's dumb, man. It's dumb. It should never let nobody's opinion, whether it's some schmuck talking into a camera or some schmuck not talking into a camera who's just blindly anonymously typing on a forum that you're an idiot, or you don't know anything, and that his brand is better than your brand, and you must be an amateur, or whatever crap they want to say to put you down so that they can feel better about themselves. It's nonsense. These are musical instruments. Each one is going to have a different pull for multiple different reasons. It could be a style of music that you play. It could just be your hands, your actual physiology. All this stuff matters. And then what inspires you when you look at it to play it, because we can all try and deny it, but that is important. If you look at a guitar and you're like, man, that's a beautiful guitar. The way I'm looking at that guitar that's hung up right there, that's not a Fender. That's not a PRS. That's not a Gibson. It's not a Japanese-made guitar. And you think to yourself, I can't wait until I could turn the camera off so I can start playing it. That's all that matters now, isn't it? It should be all that matters. Who cares what anybody else says? Hey, Cyril. How you doing? You've considered an Indonesian Yamaha because it is in Cort. Apparently, Yamaha is one that go there and build their own factory. Did you know D'Angelico changed factories as well? And Sterling by Music Man. I forget the name of the people they go through, but they're not Cort either. And I was like, oh, that's great. That's great. One of the guitars out in the boxes is a Sterling by Music Man. It's right out in the other room. I haven't even taken it out yet. I took it off the doorstep about 2 minutes before I started the stream. And the other one's a Gibson. Patiently waiting for FedEx. They were already here. Luckily, they don't ring the doorbell, but I check. And I grabbed them, so they just wouldn't sit outside. That would have sucked, because I'm borrowing them. If you want a Revstar, don't get the Elements. Get the Standard, much better. That's what I said. But again, it's feel difference. Some people might not care. Honestly, sometimes it does come down to money, man. It does. And right now, more than ever, I totally get it. You want to save money, and you might think to yourself, you know what? I like the way this feels. Maybe the pickups aren't the best on it. I can replace the pickups later. So long as you get along with the neck profile, no harm in that. Yeah, the stainless steel is good. Anna, I wish you could go to a store more than just one telly with a 7 1/4 radius. I want to try out to see how much I like the respective field to know if I prefer it for guitar and or bass. That's always the hardest thing about modern buying with anything, man. Or ma'am. Sorry. But it really is. You have so many guitar makers, and you have so many lines. Think about just how many total options from Fender alone you have for a Stratocaster now. I go to Fender's website and count, but it's got to be at least 8 or 9 with the Fender logo on it. That's just Strats. And then you factor in all the other brands that, they make Strat copies. Even if they don't, overtly say it, that's what they are. There's so much to take in, and nowhere's going to have all of them in stock. Nowhere. So you can only do the best you can with what's available to you to try locally. And if you live somewhere like I live in a remote area, I have to drive hour and a half to get to a decent guitar store. It's not forever, but it's not as easy as, you know what, I'm thinking about this. Let me hop in the car and drive 15 minutes. And that's the case for a lot of places in this country where you can do that. If you don't have that available to you, it's almost worth taking the trip. And a cool thing you can do, like, I don't know your situation, if you're single, you're married or whatever. If you're single, just make a day out of it. And one of your days off, be like, you know what, I'm going to drive 2 hours. See if you could find an area that has like 2 or 3 shops. And then go from there. Or if you're married or you're dating somebody or you have kids or whatever, like, make it so that's part of the day. And then the other part, you do something like an activity just far away from home. So it's a little bit more worthwhile than just, we're just going to drive to the guitar store today. You know what I mean? I don't know. When South Korea labor unionized, Yamaha Corp pulled up stakes and moved to Indonesia. Yep. 13 years. 13-year legal case. Human rights violations. Corruption within the government protecting court in South Korea. All documented. All true. Go look at it for yourselves. Try not to get so serious. But that was brutal. Those people went through hell in South Korea. They went through hell. Music Man Sterling designs look great. A Stingrays, man. 2 humbuckers and a trim. Yeah, they're really cool. You know what one I like? I didn't get this one. I know I just told you guys I borrowed one. I said, give me a recommendation. Surprise me. But the one I found that I thought was pretty cool was the Stingray with the 2 P90s. I think it's in seafoam green with the matching headstock. And that's got the vibrato on it too. I thought that was really cool. You have a Sterling Cutlass short scale. Need new tuners, but I got it set up nice now. Sort of heavier than it looks though. Shell pink. That's great. I like those. I am a big fan. What's the scale on those? On that specific, they've changed it. I think at one point it was like all the way down for the entry level, like the old school Duosonic, like 22.5. And then There was one in between, and then the full size is the 25 and a half. And that's one I have here. I have a Cutlass HSS. I'm stoked to try it. It'll be fun. It's something different. I like trying different things. 24. Yeah, Mustang scaling. That's cool. I always wondered why Fender never did that with the Strat and the Tele and the Jazzmaster here. Well, the Jazzmaster I kind of understand because Japan did, and they sell great. They sell short scale Strats, short scale Teles, short scale Jazzmasters, and obviously Mustangs and Jaguars. But I thought it'd be cool if they did that here. So anyway, I mean, the long and short of it here, you guys, the only deal is that, like, I didn't talk about, like, what not to do. Don't buy something for the sake of it. And just be very wary of where you buy your stuff from. I'm serious. Be very wary of that. So, I don't know. We all have different tastes. I'm not going to say any particular product or brand. Like, even though, like, clearly, I mean, you just heard what I was talking about with some of the stuff that happened in the past. Like, I have personal opinions and feelings on a lot of things that influence what I would personally spend my own money on. But some of that stuff doesn't matter to people, and it's not necessarily a reflection of the quality of the product, nor is it a reflection of the people that build them, because at the end of the day, it's not them that are making these decisions. Like, the people that put in the actual work to build these guitars, they have nothing to do with any of that stuff. So it's important to, like, just separate things, I guess, so to speak, when applicable. However, that's pretty much it. The Fender sale, I think that's only a few more days. So if you haven't done that and you're interested in one of those, go check it out. Because to me, like, that's, if you just want me to be frank, I think that's a great price for those, and that's kind of where a lot of the Indonesian guitars should be priced around, just regularly. Hair over $300. You're getting them in a wedge box, cool, whatever. I just think in this market, I feel like it's a great value. I really do. Especially that one, because it doesn't have a vibrato on it, and the hardware is good as is. So that's it. Troublemaker, same thing. I have to get going, though, because I got 2 guitar boxes, and I have videos to film, and I also have an amp box. It's not the kind of amp you think it is. You're going to be very surprised by this. But I got a lot of work to do. The holidays were here this week, so I didn't do a ton of filming. And we'll see how busy December gets. Part of me wants to be really busy on here. Part of me doesn't. Because I want to do some other stuff as well. I don't want to just be so soaked up in here, but I also do want to get some work done and try and make some extra money. But that is it. I am off for today. Thank you all for watching. If you're on the replay and you made it this long, you're a legend. I expect it from these degens. And I say that in the most endearing way ever, that are in the live stream. I know you guys are here till the end, especially Dale and the gang. But that's all. Have a great weekend. If you have any questions about anything, feel free, just in general, about stuff. Leave a comment. Shoot a message. Don't do it on Instagram, though. And I only say that because I don't check it. I felt really bad. Somebody sent me a message on Instagram, and it was like 5 weeks ago. And I just saw it, and I was like, do I even respond to this? I'm going to look like a jerk. So, yeah. Email, message, comment, whatever. I'm gone. Adios. That's the wrong button.